In the land of Canaan, there were two brothers, Esau and Jacob. Sons of Isaac and Rebekah, they were twins, but their lives would unfold in ways no one could predict. This is the story of a birthright, a blessing, and the will of God. Esau, the firstborn, came into the world first, red and covered with hair. Jacob, his twin brother, followed, holding on to Esau's heel as if he was trying to take his place. Their story began with rivalry, even before they were born. Genesis 25:23 says, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." As the years passed, the brothers grew up with very different personalities. Esau, a skilled hunter, was his father Isaac's favorite. Jacob, a quiet man who stayed in the tents, was favored by his mother Rebekah. One day Esau came home exhausted and hungry from the fields. Jacob, ever the opportunist, had cooked some stew. Esau, desperate for food, traded his birthright, his inheritance as the firstborn, for a simple bowl of stew. Genesis 25:34 tells us Esau despised his birthright. A moment of hunger and impatience would change the course of their futures forever. As Isaac grew old and his sight began to fail, he prepared to bless his eldest son, Esau, before he died. But Rebekah, knowing that God had spoken to her about the future of her sons, urged Jacob to deceive his father and take the blessing meant for Esau. Jacob, with the help of his mother, disguised himself in Esau's clothes and covered his hands and neck with goat skin to mimic Esau's hairy skin. Isaac, though confused by the voice, was deceived and gave Jacob the blessing. Genesis 27:29 says, "May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you." When Esau returned and learned that his brother had stolen his blessing, he was heartbroken and furious. "Bless me too, my father," Esau cried out in desperation. But Isaac could not reverse the blessing. Esau begged his father for any remaining blessing, and Isaac, though sorrowful, gave him a prophecy of his own. Esau would live by the sword, but one day he would break free from Jacob's rule. Genesis 27:40 states, "You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck." Esau, enraged, vowed to kill Jacob after their father's death. Fearing for his life, Jacob fled to his uncle Laban's house in Haran, where he would begin a new chapter of his life. But even in this moment of fleeing, God was at work. On the way to Haran, Jacob had a dream of a ladder reaching up to heaven, with angels ascending and descending on it. God spoke to him, reaffirming his covenant with Jacob and promising to be with him, just as he had been with Abraham and Isaac. Genesis 28:15 says, "I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go." Years passed, and Jacob grew wealthy and had a family of his own, but God called him to return to his homeland. Fearing Esau's wrath, Jacob sent messengers ahead to offer gifts, hoping to appease his brother. When they finally met, something incredible happened. Esau, moved by God's grace, ran to Jacob and embraced him, saying, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." The brothers, once torn apart by deception and rivalry, were now reconciled by love and forgiveness. The story of Jacob and Esau is one of rivalry, redemption, and the sovereignty of God. Though Jacob deceived his brother and took his birthright, God still worked through him to fulfill his promises. Through their story, we are reminded that God's plan is greater than our mistakes, and that reconciliation and forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds. Genesis 33:84 shows the heart of their story. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. In today's world, the story of Jacob and Esau speaks to many of us. We live in a time where rivalry, jealousy, and deception often drive our actions, leading to broken relationships and missed opportunities. Like Jacob, we may try to take what isn't ours, or like Esau, we may be tempted to make hasty decisions without considering the long-term consequences. But Jacob's journey also shows us the power of redemption. No matter how flawed or deceitful our actions may have been, God has a plan for us. Just as he worked through Jacob's mistakes, he can work through ours. The story teaches us the importance of reconciliation. In a world where divisions run deep, whether in families, communities, or nations, Jacob and Esau's reconciliation reminds us that forgiveness is powerful and that healing can only come when we are willing to let go of past hurts. Ultimately, God's sovereignty remains, and his plans for us will always prevail. So, whether we are the Jacob in the story trying to make things right or the Esau looking for peace, we can trust that God's love and grace will lead us toward healing and restoration. Thank you for watching. May this story inspire you to seek forgiveness, reconcile with those who have wronged you, and trust in God's perfect plan for your life.